I had no idea who the fuck this dude was, this Nick Rekieta. I had no idea till this morning. And all of a sudden, I see this shit pop up where it's talking about like how they felt like it was the downfall of his channel. And I guess this was posted ironically shortly before he wound up getting arrested. This video where someone was just like, yeah, his channel's going downhill. I used to fuck with his channel. I sell tea. I guess he sells like literal tea, like loose leaf tea you could buy in baggies and shit. I don't know. So I have no clue how he was arrested or anything about that. I have no clue about that shit. I kept trying to figure out like what drugs he was caught with. One dude from the quartering tried to say it was cocaine, but he didn't say it in he didn't definitively say like he was caught with cocaine. He said he was caught with drugs and a handgun, and then he tried to say like something which was another reason I was going to touch on this. He tried to say something about, but I don't know if the Constitution says anything about you can't be in possession of no booger sugar with a gun. No, it's not the Constitution. It's Nicks and all that shit that care about that. That's like one of the main things on Nick check that disqualifies you is have you ever been found to possess drugs, like, or be under the influence of mind-altering substances? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's one of the first ones they ask you on a Nick's check. So, like, that's why I'm like, this is this is supposed to be your wheelhouse. If you anything that's not a way to the left Democrat, this should be your wheelhouse. So him having a gun with drugs around it becomes at the least an unlawful possession. At the very least. You feel what I'm saying? Because it's unlawful to have gun with drugs because of the Knicks check, the NFA, all that shit. The shit that regulates firearms, it's not in the Constitution. The quartering want to get all hung up on it, on the Constitution, man. Like, come on, it's not that. It's not about that. Do the ATF really care about the Constitution? Let's ask you that. They go to hell when they die. You feel what I'm saying? I'm not even a fucking Republican, and this is my wheelhouse. I understand what he did, why he got the gun took if he had drugs with him. And if you any type of libertarian, Republican, anything, bro, where you care about gun rights, you should be on some shit where, how do I say this? You understand that shit. Like if your party's supposed to care about some type of 2A shit and you don't know nothing about it, you should really go educate yourself. That's what I'm trying to say about it. That was the other point that made me feel like I had to talk about this. So it's like this, right? Because I know the quartering is more of a right-leaning thing, bro. That especially should be your, like, wheelhouse. You should know those laws. You feel me? That's why we have so many laws in regards to restricting firearms that y'all motherfuckers haven't fixed yet. Because motherfuckers don't know the fucking laws. Because y'all are not the ones who was used to getting jammed up for them for fucking hundreds of fucking years. You feel me? Not that. Because, like, the first one was introduced in, like, the 1930s and shit. The NFA and shit like that. But you should know these laws, bro. Like, I'm a felon. This shit can't even, like, really benefit me knowing this shit at this point. Except what they gonna charge me with should they catch me with some shit. You feel me? So there's really not much benefit in me knowing this shit. But y'all do this shit for a job. Y'all right-leaning. Y'all should know this shit. Whether you own guns or not, you should know this shit because it's for the benefit of your party. End of story. Not even your party, it's for the benefit as people, as Americans, first of all. But, because I personally disagree with the fact that, drug use should be a disqualifying factor for that. I personally disagree with that because I look at it like this. Drug use does not translate to abuse. Drug abuse and drug use does not translate to drug problem. You understand? Like, some of y'all might be like, well, drug abuse, that could suggest you have a problem. No. If you go on a bender for 2 weeks, that's drug abuse. But you don't do that every 2 weeks. Like, you're not always on a bender for 2 weeks. That's not an addiction. You feel what I'm saying? That's not a drug problem. A drug problem is when that shit consumes so much money and all that shit, you cannot live your life. This shit makes it so that you cannot live. Like, you are fucking shit up. You're fucking shit up with your family. You're robbing, you're stealing, whatever, to get the shit. Like, yeah, that's when it's a drug problem at its most severe form. You feel me? If you would sell your ass for the shit, it is now a drug problem. You understand? Let's just be absolutely fucking clear about it. That's like, I mean, it's probably a problem. You could consider it sooner than that. But that's like when you would definitely like, because I wouldn't do that for no drugs. Like, that's when it definitely become a problem. If I wouldn't do it for no drugs and you doing it for some drugs, like, put it like this, there's not a lot, I can't say, because I've done a lot of shit for drugs in my life, but it wasn't like no lick shit. You feel what I'm saying? So that's why I can't really compare the shit. But I'm saying, like, if you get to the point where you're doing shit I wouldn't do to get drugs, or that I haven't done to get drugs, at that point, bro, you done lost it. Like, you feel me? Like, you got past the just doing criminal shit to do drugs, and you actually crossing lines I wouldn't cross. Yeah, you have a drug problem at that point. You feel me? So I gotta put it like this, man. Like, I don't know what, like, I could watch the recent, I guess what they're calling the downward spiral of this motherfucker. I could just look at the motherfucker's face and tell he was just on one or something, like, bro, what he smoking? I want some of that, but I don't want it every day like he getting it. You feel me? Like, I want to know how they got him. I want to know, because for that type of shit to happen without a warrant, that would mean either, did he get a DWI charge as well? I don't think he got a DWI. Which, I mean, if they're already charging you for guns and coke or guns and dope, they're gonna say fuck the DWI, it don't matter. He's already fighting 2 Class B, Class C felonies. It just don't matter. You know what I'm saying? So that's where it really boils down to is, he's gonna be able to get a good lawyer. Do I think he'll be able to avoid jail time? Maybe. Do I think maybe he might avoid jail time and get locked up later? Yes. I guess with his politics, the way he leans politically, it wouldn't surprise me. Like, that's why I was like, well, how did this dude literally predict this like 8 hours in advance? Like, I'm not saying he had nothing to do with it, because I've done that myself. Like, I know I've done shit where I predicted shit literally the same day. I've done it with songs, I've done it with these videos, so I get it. Like, it's not like I'm saying like, oh, he had to have been insider information with the police or something. I'm not saying that at all. I want to make that clear. For me, it's just like, but how'd they get him though? You feel me? How'd they get him? Like, because it's like, they didn't raid his house. He wasn't DWI. You know, if he got a good lawyer, I mean, like I say, I've had cases I should have gone to jail for, and I either beat or got probation for. They reinstated my probation like at least like 7 to 10 times before they locked me up here. That's without my wild. So it's like, I'm just looking at this shit like, how did they get him for this though? He had to have been doing some shit to attract attention. Even though, like I said, if he was DWI and they got him for this, the arresting officers probably would have made a deal with him, like, listen, on the spot, like, listen, we're gonna just charge you for the guns and the dope. We're not gonna give you this DWI because those are 2 bigger charges that we know is gonna stick right now. So, because if they have the gun there, and it's not no shit where you can argue that either it's not a gun or some other shit, like, there's a bunch of shit you could say, like, oh, like, if you don't have the gun right there, like, that's a way you could, or if the gun was obtained by illegal means, I know this one from experience, if the gun was obtained by illegal means, that's why they were able to get me to plead out to carry, transfer, dangerous weapon, because they knew taking it to trial, that gun charge wasn't going to stick. So they said, listen, if he pleads out and you got this other case, you know what I'm saying, we'll give him 3 felonies basically, instead of 2 at that point, and we'll go from there. Because if I took the gun charge, they would have probably knocked the threatening off. On what the circumstances were, like when they got the gun and the drugs right there, like, you gotta understand that doesn't really cancel much, because it's like 2 of like equally, like, you know what I'm saying, they might be cool with them and try to run it concurrent, you know what I'm saying, they might be cool with them and try to do that, but I don't know exactly what they're gonna do. I don't know what the I want to know the circumstances of how he was got though. I kept trying to find it, I couldn't really find that. But if he was doing something, I'm thinking like he had to have been either doing something, acting a fool, or they called him DUI and they said, listen, since we know you're in enough trouble as it is, we're not even going to charge you with DWI. You see what I'm saying? I feel like it was one of the 2 things, but I had to come speak on this because popping, you know what I'm saying, shit costs a lot of money, all type of shit, you know what I'm saying? I'll be back later today, man. I'm out there, bitch.